do you find a lot of the players from that age of 16, and if you're watching them over the course of that 2 years, tend to drop off, or they do tend to apply themselves?
Hayley, it varies enormously. And one of the things that's important in recruiting is understanding the individual and treating each player as an individual, because their growth spurts will vary. Some players by the age of 17 are fully developed and they're quite physically mature. Other players have still got 1 or 2 growth spurts to go. You look at them individually, some are very much committed to their academia, if you like, and their studies. Others aren't. And then we've also got to look at, what's going on in the background with these kids, what's going on in their home life. So it's not just about their football. It's about understanding what has influenced that and impacted on that. Some players aren't identified until their 18th year because of all those factors. They might have been overseas for a period of time. They might have been really small and skinny and don't have their growth spurt until sort of 17 and a half. So they don't burst onto the scene until their 18th year, sometimes 19 or 20. So it's important for us to continue to look at them beyond their 18th year for all of those factors. So that takes up a lot of the work, is just understanding the individual and what is going on in the background.
When you get to that point, obviously you've got to meet the family and you're going to see the players in person. When you sit down with the players, and how do you explain to them, or I guess in a sense prepare them for what they're about to potentially do with their life, and that's get into professional football? Again,
that's part of trying to understand the individual. Because, as I mentioned earlier, not all of them have been through the national talent pathway. They haven't all played national under-16s or schoolboys. They haven't all been in the AFL Academy. So they haven't had the same education in terms of what that football is like. But when we are interviewing the player, we want to try to get an understanding of, do they know anybody that plays AFL footy? And what level of understanding do they have of what's involved in trying to play AFL footy, and the commitment and time that goes into the preparation, the dedication to have their body in the best possible condition week in, week out, all that sort of stuff. But again, they're all individuals, so their knowledge varies, but that's part of the jigsaw puzzle for us, is to sort of understand it. And then we're trying to go back to the investigations that we've had with schools and coaches about their capacity to learn, their interest to learn, all those things. So even though they might not have had the same education, you'll get a feel for, well, how much are they into the sport? Do they really want to do this? And that's what we're trying to evaluate, as well as whether or not they're going to be a good fit for Sydney.